They have shown that verification isn't about your identity because Twitter knows for a fact these individuals are who they say they are. In fact, that is why they removed their badge, because Twitter is familiar with these people's body of work. Last night, Twitter began removing the verification badges, those little blue check marks, from users on Twitter associated with the right. We've seen people like Laura Loomer, Richard Spencer, Tommy Robinson, and several others lose their verification badge, and this is because Twitter claims they are violating the terms of service. Yesterday, Twitter put out a statement saying, "Update on our verification program and the actions we are taking. Verification has long been perceived as an endorsement. We gave verified accounts visual prominence on the service, which deepened this perception. We should have addressed this earlier, but did not prioritize the work as we should have. This perception became worse when we opened up verification for public submissions and verified people who we in no way endorse. We're working on a new authentication and verification program. In the meantime, we are not accepting any public submissions for verification and have introduced new guidelines for the program. We are conducting an initial review of verified accounts and will remove verification from accounts whose behavior does not fall within these new guidelines. We will continue to review and take action as we work towards a new program we are proud of." According to an email from Twitter that was sent to Laura Loomer, they said, "Hello. We're writing to let you know that the verified badge associated with your account at Laura Loomer will be permanently removed. We're doing so after determining that your account does not comply with Twitter's guidelines for verified accounts. In accordance with our terms of service, Twitter may remove the verified badge and verified status of a Twitter account at any time. Regards, Twitter." So let's take a look at their guidelines before moving on to the issues and why this is a very, very stupid move on Twitter's part. According to Twitter support, the loss of verified status. Twitter reserves the right to remove verification at any time without notice. Reasons for removal may reflect behaviors on and off Twitter that include intentionally misleading people on Twitter by changing one's display name or bio, promoting hate and or violence, or directly attacking or threatening other people on the basis of their race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or disease, supporting organizations or individuals that promote the above, inciting or engaging in harassment of others, violence and dangerous behavior, directly or indirectly threatening or encouraging any form of physical violence against an individual or any group of people, including threatening or promoting terrorism, violent, gruesome, shocking, or disturbing imagery, self-harm, suicide, engaging in activity on Twitter that violates the Twitter rules. Most people are not shocked to find that it was people on the right who had their verification removed, for a few reasons. To the left, people like Richard Spencer are considered racist and hateful, promoting violent hate speech, etc. And to the right, people feel that they're being unjustly persecuted by social media networks, censoring conservatives and people on the right for having the wrong opinions. But now let's talk about why that perception is so important. As many of you may be aware, Twitter verification for the longest time was supposed to just help people identify whether or not this was a real account. That's simple. That means if there is someone who is politically prominent or a public figure, you know you're looking at the real person. There are a lot of parody accounts. There are a lot of fake Julian Assange accounts. There are a lot of fake Donald Trump accounts. And when you're seeing these tweets, it's important you know it's coming from the real person and not a parody, in which case people could believe fake news or just be misled into dangerous or wrong positions. But a lot of people took the badge to be an endorsement. Here's the reality. There are a lot of users on Twitter, hundreds of millions. And there's no way Twitter will be able to verify everyone who wants to prove they are authentic. Typically, verification includes something like sending a photo of an ID to prove your identity, and then they can put a check mark on your account so that people know you are who you say you are. And this is important because fake news is a problem, and we need to be careful about getting news from sources and we don't know who they are or where they're from. Take, for instance, all of the Russian troll accounts that have recently been busted. Verification is really important. So this is why Twitter made a very, very stupid mistake. Verification no longer has anything to do with proving your identity, as they have just confirmed. By removing the verification badge of Richard Spencer, Laura Loomer, Tommy Robinson, and in the past, Milo Yiannopoulos, they have shown that verification isn't about your identity because Twitter knows for a fact these individuals are who they say they are. In fact, that is why they removed their badge, because Twitter is familiar with these people's body of work, in which case they are saying bad behavior warrants the removal of your verification badge. Verification then means you are a prominent and promoted voice on Twitter. That verification badge is a mark of credibility. Keeping in mind, I am a verified Twitter user. I have personally experienced why Twitter verification is important, especially in journalism. I have done reports in the past before I was verified that people aren't willing to believe. But after verification, more people are willing to say, okay, this is a verified account, it must be true. So far, the few people that have had their badges removed sends an interesting signal that Twitter is paying particular attention to the politics of their verified users and the complaints about verification. But if their claim is that the reasons for removal may reflect behaviors on and off Twitter, we can see that, to an extent, this is politically motivated. And how do I know? Well, let's take a look at some of the criticism that the right has already given. Harvey Weinstein, who has not tweeted or may have deleted all of their tweets, is verified. As many of you know, Harvey Weinstein has been accused by a large amount of women of rape and sexual assault. Take, for instance, Kevin Spacey, who does tweet and is still verified and has been accused of sexual impropriety and in some instances on minors, to which he has apologized. And let's take a look at Ian Watkins, a member of the band The Lost Prophets. He was charged with 13 sexual offenses against children, including the attempted rape of a 1-year-old girl. In December of 2013, Watkins was sentenced to 29 years in prison, plus 6 years on extended license with a possibility of parole after serving 2/3 of his sentence. And yes, Ian Watkins is also verified on Twitter. So let's be reasonable about this. Obviously, Twitter doesn't have the capability to go through every single verified account, look through all of their personal history, and determine who does and does not deserve a verification badge. In which case, it is fair to say that they have probably just overlooked these particular individuals for the time being, and they might lose their verification badge in the future. However, by taking the verification badges away from Loomer and Spencer and Robinson, among many others on the right, we can see that their primary focus is the far-right, right-wing activists, and not sexual offenders. If Twitter wanted to make a statement about what verification really meant, in this case, proving, essentially, that it is a badge of credibility and endorsement, they could have started with some more egregious offenders. Twitter has taken away the verification badges from people who have done nothing illegal. They simply hold bad opinions. Now, I think the reason for this is that Twitter fears the rhetoric coming from these individuals, be it anti-immigration, critical of Islam, could reduce the likelihood that people will join their platform, and Twitter desperately wants to grow to make more money, in which case their primary focus are individuals who are considered divisive or, as they see it, hateful. But that still doesn't excuse Twitter not removing the verification badges from these sexual offenders or from individuals on the left who may be equally as divisive. I think any reasonable person would say that the removal of these verification badges it's political. Because if you're going to look for the worst offenders, if you want to say that verification badges will be removed based on behavior on or off Twitter, then you've got to get rid of somebody in prison for child sex crimes. But Twitter isn't paying attention to what their users are doing. They're paying attention to the squeaky wheels. And when celebrities and activists on the left complain that people on the right are being verified and loud enough voices can cause bad PR for Twitter, Twitter is going to respond to that PR and not to the actual crisis. I've spoken with several journalists, people who consider themselves moderate and left-leaning, and I have to say that among the people I know in New York City, journalists who work for big digital publications, there is, it's seemingly unanimous. I don't want to say anything's absolute. I don't want to say we all agree, but we can all see what's going to happen next. The statements I have made criticizing Twitter for not de-verifying these sexual offenders is exactly the problem. Twitter is making editorial decisions, and now, whenever any squeaky wheel wants to bring it up, they can point out any individual who has ever done anything questionable and then demand Twitter take action. Twitter has bent the knee, in which case they can't make any excuses for why they won't continue to bend their knee to anyone who complains. Certainly, there are people of all political factions and in all industries who deserve to have their verification removed if Twitter says that people like Loomer and Spencer should have their badge removed as well. I think it is entirely reasonable as well that anyone can see that Twitter verification is, in fact, a badge of endorsement. And Twitter removing the badge from individuals following the complaints of high-profile users shows that the badge is not about proving who you are. It is, in fact, about proving validity to your statements. It is, in fact, about having credibility. Twitter has put themselves in a very awful position, and it's their own fault. And I can only see things getting dramatically worse. Many people say that Twitter was trying to appease everyone in the past, and they realized they can't do it, so they decided to only appease celebrities and the left, in which case they are going to face further backlash. When you give an inch, they will take a mile. And if Twitter is going to capitulate and remove these badges, what's to say they won't remove it from everyone else, anyone that the left might complain about? I suppose Twitter might just play the game of, we're not fair. It's never going to be fair, and if someone complains about you and we think it's a big enough problem, we'll take your badge too. But comment below and we'll keep the conversation going. Yesterday, I noticed someone in the comments saying that I don't respond, in which case I'm not keeping the conversation going, but I want to say I do read the comments and I do respond. It's just that sometimes there's 500 or 1,000 comments and I'm obviously not able to respond to everybody. But comments are important, and I think, you know, when I say keep the conversation going, I mostly mean you guys who are watching, share your thoughts and ideas on this, because the conversation, it's for all of us. So I appreciate everyone who does comment and shares your thoughts. Give the video a thumbs up if you like the video, because apparently that's important. I don't usually say that, but I guess it is. And if you want to follow me for breaking news and live streams around the world, I'm on Twitter @Timcast. You can support my work by going to timcast.com/donate. Give whatever you'd like or give nothing at all. My videos are always free and available every day at 4 p.m. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I will see you all tomorrow at 4.